How you doing, fam bam? Welcome to part 9 of building your own PC. We are doing a Z690 motherboard, typical ATX, and we are also using a 12th generation Intel processor with DDR5 RAM, and we already installed the cooler, so we did a lot of the install for this PC already. So now we just gotta hook up some front I/O wires to it before we can proceed to the next step, which are these wires right here. And you're going to want to route them to the front of the PC case, so that way you can have a very successful install. So without further ado, let's go ahead and make sure everything is wired up. And also for you new PC builders out there, it is also good to refer to your guide, because this does give you a lot of information on wiring, just in case if you get lost in anything, as where it can get pretty specific. So without further ado, let's start wiring up this beautiful PC. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to try to route these wires. Like currently I have a USB 3.0 port right here. I'm just going to simply just slide it up here to the front, because we know we will use this. So we'll start with this right here. All we have to do is connect it to up here. You just line it up with the notch that is on this wire currently, and you just line it up right there. Usually it'll snap in, and the less wires, the more finesse. Next, we have this USB-C wire here. Now it can go in either way. It's completely universal. I'll just snap right in. Next, we'll sneak over the audio files. We'll connect it just like this. You'll have an idea because you'll have this type of pattern, and you'll see no pin in one of them. So for the very next part is the not so exciting part, which is wiring up these front panel power ports. So just be really careful when you wire it, and make sure you refer to your manual when you do so. So it'll look like something like this over here. So you want to refer to that before you wire it, just to make sure everything is correct. So with this particular set, this is a power switch. You have your reset switch, and you also have a power LED positive and power LED negative. Let's start with the power LED positive and negative, which is here. Since these are like to be both individual, so the positive goes on the outside here. They're not really particular, they don't really click on as smooth, but you'll just feel it lock in. Then we'll go with the power switch next. Last and not least, we will have the reset switch, and that will be directly under the power switch. So for a better view, I will remove the power switch. Then finally reinstall the power switch. Put this all away to give it a much cleaner look. And now next, we just got to hook up the fans and USB ports. So as you remember, we have these fans in the front, and to make it easier, I actually have an extension here that I will show you right here. And what this will do is actually connect all the fans together as one. So as you can see, it's kind of a splitter here. Better to see it just like this. It'll make our job 10 times easier. We're gonna get all these loose fan connections here and connect them all together to make it all one. And 3. Now we have the one loose end. We're going to plug this into the front of the PC case. So make sure you look into your manual and plug it into your chassis fan, because now we're going to have all three for the chassis. So that will go good right over here. Now we have the front fans hooked up. Now all we have to do is hook up the USB for our Corsair Commander core. So let's flip that around. You'll see this guy here. We're going to loosen this one up. We'll leave this back here because we're not going to need this in the front. This will be used later in a later video here. What we will need is this USB here, as you can see. And we will simply just wire this to the front as well. Now we got this wire. And all we want to do is hook it up to the USB, which is right here. Remember those wire ties that they give you here? This is why it is super important to have some organization. So we're going to start organizing here. And this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Anything, you could always take off these Velcro straps and also help with your organization here. So now we have it all nice and organized. All we have left is this SATA power, which we will use to connect once we get the power supply connected. So we did a lot, Fam Bam. We got the PC mostly all wired up, and we're ready to proceed to the very next step. I hope you found this content very useful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you know anyone else who wants to build a PC, make sure you share this playlist with them to make their life a little bit easier, hopefully. And if you want to join the big wonderful fan band, make sure you go down to hit the subscribe button for more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for all the newest updates. Make sure to follow my Twitter handle right here, as it is the same as my TikTok and IG as well. So I'm excited to proceed to the next step. We're almost done building a PC. We're just about there. We're not too much further into it. We only got a few more things to do. I look forward to seeing you on the very next step, which we will be installing a power supply.